never mind that. What was that?
Hi!
Who are you?
BARFF!
Not in here, mister. This is a Mercedes.
Nah, that's my name. BARFF!
BARFF? What are you?
And here we go, BARFF Fantasy Football, Season 5, Episode 13. As we come to the end of the regular season, we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm Brian the Commish. Joining me tonight in the studio is the owner of Born to Run and recently cast as a new supervillain in a DC Spider-Man movie as the Spoiler.
Yes.
Walt is here. Walt, it's great to see you tonight.
Yeah, no, it's great being here, and I got to tell you, I always want people to succeed, and I'm like, well, it won't feel good, but you know what? It did feel good. I'm not gonna lie.
That is, we're going to talk a lot about that game. We've been, we throw around playoff implications as a phrase, but I can tell you that, okay, I'm just making sure no one's weighing it with no audio. That's Kamish's greatest fear.
Yes.
So if anyone is watching and don't hear anything, please let us know right away. But that was the playoff implications of last week were ridiculous. Like, there was so little that was over and done with, and it made for what we had hoped for and what we got, a really exciting week in BARFF.
Oh yeah, and even though I was mathematically out of it, I still had a part of it, so it still was exciting for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was very engaged. I'll say that.
No one has been in that position more than me, and it is very satisfying to be in that position. And joining us also to talk about this end of the regular season week of playoff implications, the owner of Sotie Pantloads is on the line. Kyle, can you hear us?
I can, Commish. How's it going? Congrats, by the way. Let me control the narrative there.
Thank you. I was wishing you good tidings also, but maybe not so much. Yeah.
Well, at least you were rooting for him. I don't think anyone else was.
I know, I'm always rooting for you guys. It's just at this point, and I was looking back, I don't think that I've made the playoffs since 2016. Which is ridiculous.
Wow.
And that was a long time ago. And so I just assume that I'm not going to be there. And so I'm in a little bit of a strange place, but I'm happy to be here.
I got to tell you, I was not expecting that because there's nothing from your luck of your track record to suggest that you would have got a break and actually make the playoffs.
No, there isn't. It is an unusual circumstance. I was one game out last year, and I thought, well, I'm just going to fall short for points for. We'll talk more about last week. Joining us on the line now, another owner that for a different reason had some nail biting. This was an owner that was jockeying for position. The owner of No Lineup Needed is on the line. Christian, how are you?
Hey, Christian.
Good, Brian. Well, how y'all doing tonight?
Good.
All right, so we've got Sotie Pantloads and No Lineup Needed on the line. We are going to have another caller join us probably after our review of Week 14 for a special segment. But, well, let's talk about last week. There was so much drama. There was only one, I believe, as I think back on what we were doing, there was only one real throwaway game, which was first place. Huey Lewis and the News taking on worst team ever, Hard Luck, and they were already out. So where do you want to start with a review of Week 14?
Yeah, so I think, a game that had a lot of fireworks, the rifle and no lineup, I think is where I'd want to start off first.
All right, let's do it. Let me get our screens right. I'm having a little bit of trouble here. And so jump in with where you want to go with this game.
Well, I think just the ridiculousness of the score itself. I mean, you got Christian 158 points, almost 159, and you lose? Like, how is that even possible?
This was pain that goes beyond. I mean, first, congrats to the rifle, because if you're going to set the season's high score, this is the week you want to do it. With everything on the line. This is win or go home, and the rifle responded with, I'm not going home. Christian, tell us about the pain that you suffered during this game this week.
Immeasurable amounts. I was up 100 points going into the window in the late window of Sunday.
Yeah.
and I was done by the end of that window. So he put up like 150 points with 5 players, and
He did. He did.
And he only got 5 points basically out of James Cook. That's the part
I know.
that's even
I know.
funnier.
In that amazing shootout in Buffalo, James Cook.
5 points. That's
5
it.
points.
That's just like ridiculous to me.
I was actually just so like, there's nothing I could do. I don't think I could have had any lineup set, even with waiver wire players, that would have won. So
No.
I'm just like, it's like, my entire team does well. I don't even have Lamar Jackson, so I'm like, wow, like this is great. And then Josh Allen puts up 60 points on me, and Puka outperformed both the other Rams players, would both do well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
well,
There's
that's
nothing to be
it, I
done.
guess.
There's nothing to be done. We're going to get that up on the screen right now.
Exactly.
It was such a crazy game. We're talking about, hold on, there we go. We're getting it right up on the screen right now for everyone to witness this unbelievable win by Springfield Rifle, 187.7 to 158.9. Walt, when you score 158 points jockeying for playoff position, you expect to be successful.
Yeah, like I said, like Christian, there's nothing he could have done.
Nothing.
Which I guess maybe that makes it hurt a little less, Christian. You can't sit there and say, oh, if I would have put him, I would have somehow, came ahead. So, I mean, you made all the right moves. Winston ended up, panning out okay.
Right.
He beat projection. Like I said, I just don't know. It's unfortunate, but the Rifle, Josh Allen, I was watching that game. His throws were ridiculous. I mean, unbelievable.
He got it done in just about every way that you can get done to score touchdowns.
Yeah, and then Stafford, although he only scored 19, but passes wise, like he was on the money to Puka. It was just a classic aerial shootout. It was amazing.
Yeah, that catch that Nakua made on the sideline,
unbelievable.
that drove Tom Brady crazy. That also must have driven you crazy for a different reason, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, Puka's like unreal. So like, I knew he hangs a lot, like every week. But 40 points, 40. Like it's like him and Josh Allen put up 100 points on me. 2 players. I think I could have got beat if he removed James Cook, the defense, the kicker, and DeAndre Hopkins. I think I still would have lost.
I think you're right.
Like he could have played no one outside that one window, and I would have lost.
Yeah.
So it's like, good game, Jeff. Like, I got nothing to say.
That's right.
Yeah, hats off to the Rifle
Yeah.
for sure.
And
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say the one thing, and I don't want to jump ahead too much, but we get a repeat of this,
yeah.
which is
We got a double repeat.
I
Yeah.
look for it. So Christian, that's kind of nice, right? You get another crack at it.
Yep.
Another crack with potentially 6 players going in an hour.
What?
How's that even?
Yeah, the Rams play the 49ers at 7 p.m. Central. So
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you got. Okay, well we'll get to that.
Yeah,
Christian.
we'll get to next week.
Oh,
Fellow Central Timer, I see, huh?
yeah, but
Not bad here, right?
here in the lovely Windy City, I hate it. Like my entire clock is off at this point. So
I want to call to attention the fact that we are joined by yet another owner on the line, the owner of Hard Luck Soarin Eagles. Jordan's on the line. Jordan, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Between my tears.
We're going to get to those tears
Yeah.
in just a few moments, and then we're going to have you lead a segment leading us into the playoffs. But Kyle, when you look at 187 points put up by the Rifle, what did you think of this game? Is the Rifle going in as I don't know, the team, maybe the team to beat heading into these playoffs right now?
Yeah, I mean, the Rifle pretty much told me to, shove what I said on the pod last week, to shove it basically, because I said having that many guys across limited games is bad. I think every guy got like over 25, so can't really get on for that. But yeah, I was watching the game closely because if Christian beat Rifle, it would have helped the Pantloads.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it was over after the 1 o'clock game.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, Christian did his job. I'm like, there we go. And then Gort's losing, so I'm in. But then Rifle obviously did his thing. But yeah, I mean, if Josh Allen keeps it up, I think a Rifle is kind of a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, what had not occurred to me last week, Walt, when we were talking about bracketology, is we had said at least one 7-win team is going to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was true. What I didn't really focus on, because it just seemed improbable to me, was that there was a scenario in which all 7-win teams could have made it in.
Yep.
So there was a point pretty early on, and we haven't gotten to that game yet, but when it looked pretty likely that Moppers was going to just start walking all over me, that I thought, well, I still have an opportunity here to pull it out if Christian and Ant, speaking of Ant, as I say his name, joining us on the line, the owner of Boston Beans, Ant is on the line. Ant, can you hear us?
I can. How's it going, everyone?
We're
Hey,
doing
Tony.
good. We're doing good. So what I'm saying,
Bastard.
What's up, old man?
Hey, not much, Tony.
so what I was saying, as you join us now, is that it didn't occur to me last week that all of the 7-win teams could have gotten in if you and Christian had won. So I was rooting for you both hard, heading in the back half of the day, because it looked like Tommy was just going to start stomping me. That scenario did not play out. I was watching the Springfield Rifles score grow and grow, and I couldn't believe it. Christian, it hurt you, but you were in regardless. Like it hurt your position, but we knew you were going to be in. We said it last week, but boy, that almost knocked me right out, and it was quite a stressful day.
Yeah. Last week we didn't really talk much about
No.
the rifle, right?
No.
The
No.
Kentucky Derby, the guy that comes way back and
Right.
he wins. So
Right.
yeah, it was pretty amazing, I must say.
Yep, that was a great performance. So hats off to Rifle, good for you, and we'll see what goes on moving forward, because we're going to see a lot of similarities next week with this week. So Walt, do you want to go in? Where are we going now?
Oh, well, since we got both owners on, let's talk about the Pantloads and the Beans. And I will say this to start. I have to give the Pantloads some credit because, and I don't like to criticize other owners, but when I see a stark contrast of owners, so the Pantloads, all the way to the bitter end, believed they were going to win.
Yeah.
I couldn't shake them. I'm sending them text messages saying, you're done or whatever. He goes, nope, we're going to come through. And then I compare and contrast. Worst team ever? Where is he? Not a peep from the guy. We haven't heard from him in like 3 weeks. He's gone MIA.
He's underground.
I just gotta say,
he's in the protected bunker.
Yes, hey, Kyle, kudos to you. That's what an owner should be doing.
It was close. You came close, but you could not overcome Boston Beans. Boston Beans wins 149.3 to 123.1. Beans moved to 9-5 and getting that second bye spot. Pantloads finish at 7-7, which we said from week 1 this year, 7 wins was the stick, but it was points for, and it wasn't a lot of points for, Kyle. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was very possible that you would have surpassed me in points for this week, and I would have been happy to see that. Not that I'm not happy to be in the playoffs, but this was a tough one. Ant, you're on the line, 149.3 and a bye. Did you see this going into this week, and are you happy with where you sit?
Very happy with where I sit. No, I did not see this happening. I was rooting for Christian to lose just so that I could have the bye, because he was a good team and he would be second. But yeah, anyway, I was down big to bone, so I thought I was out. And then Jamar Chase came to life.
He sure
Came to
did.
life.
He sure did. Yep.
That's an understatement.
In a week of ridiculous points scored with Josh Allen flirting with 60, and we saw Puka Nacua well over 40. Jamar Chase 46.1. Well, what's happening? To
So
these points?
everybody knows I'm a long-time Cowboy fan. So I didn't realize the key to losing is not taking out the team's best player, but taking out their second best player. And then I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, how are the Cowboys not focusing on Jamar Chase? He's by far the Bengals' best receiver. Nothing against T. Higgins. He's good. And yet, it seemed like they were blanketing T. Higgins, but they're laying off on Jamar Chase. I just did not get it at all.
That was wow. If there was a dramatic moment, we've had so many games, so many BARFF weeks come down to Monday night and that final, the final few minutes of Monday night, including that heartbreaker. Jordan, you know all about this last minute of a game pain that goes on. as that happened to you last week. But when that turnover happened and the Bengals got the ball back, Kyle, did you, I'm sure you were depressed up until that moment, and describe what you were feeling as the Bengals got the ball back.
I was trying to believe till the end, keeping it cool, man. I definitely called Joe Burrow and Teagan some things to my friends, which I regret. But honestly, when they got the ball back, I'm like, he hasn't got to Higgins yet. He's not going to him now. Like, it just didn't feel like it was going to happen since he hasn't thrown to him all game. So, like, why change it then,
So I have to say that that's your perspective as you were being defeatist to probably try to protect yourself. I also was being defeatist. Like, there is no way that anything is going to happen other than a long TD pass to T. Higgins.
Yeah, because it had the classic setup. I hadn't looked at him all game, and then right at the bitter end on a complete screw up by the Cowboys, I was thinking that same thing.
Yeah, I was going to get teardrops tattooed on my face and come on the podcast tonight. People would have thought it was cool. They would have thought I killed people, but I would have told them, no, I lost in the last minute and got kicked out of the fantasy playoffs in BARFF. And they would have sympathized for me for sure.
And I still have a hard time fathoming this. It's his second lowest point total of the year.
Yep.
Don't even give me this, man.
No, I got it. Week 3, he had less,
I know, but
he got hurt. He got hurt. So it's like
the worst part is they threw like 58 times.
To everyone else.
He had 14 receptions, Jamar Chase. Get one to your buddy.
Right.
It's a contract.
The equipment manager got three balls.
And then you say again, I go back to the Cowboys. Where's the halftime adjustment?
Right.
You say, well, Chase is killing us. Let's let someone else beat us.
Yeah.
And no, they figured, why not stick with the formula?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love the pity throw up ball to him in the end zone. Yeah, he gave him a real chance on that one. I didn't even get up out of my seat.
Well, did you see? I think Bones also predicted Joe Burrow's post-game comments about T. Higgins. That he essentially challenged the front office to
sign his buddy.
This is wild that this man just gives him no reception. He's like, guys, we're not letting this guy go. Like, give me less money.
I mean, you want to pay crazy. You want to pay big money for a decoy. I mean, it's awesome.
It was crazy. I thought that was the old T. Higgins, but I guess he's still the same old T. Higgins.
I also find it very did the Cowboys not expect Jamar Chase to rip him apart? It's like, who else is gonna do it? It's like there's no one else in this team that's gonna, that it's not like this is the first time you've ever done it.
Like I said, that's usually what most coordinators do: take out the best player on the other team.
Yep.
But not for Zimmer.
Jamar Chase revenge game too. Had him last year, stunk, and then Tony 2 games against me this year, both 40+. So he hates Sotie Pantload management.
Jamar Chase is not looking for a contract with Sotie. There's no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know who's drafting T. Higgins next year. No one will touch him with a 10-foot pole.
He's got a sour taste in the mouths of BARFF owners with T. Higgins.
Tom will, yeah. When Drake May's throwing to him, Tom will take him.
Tom take that guile.
That's entirely possible. All right, where do you want to go now, Walt?
Oh, let's see. Where should we go? Well, I'm sure Jordan wants to get this off his chest, so let's talk about our game.
Let's do it. So this is, I don't know if you saw the intro, Jordan, but we introduced Walt as a supervillain in an upcoming Spider-Man movie called The Spoiler, and that is because he was the winner of this game, 152.95, huge point total going out of the season, playing Spoiler, finishing at 6-8, taking out Soarin Eagles, who would have been in with a win, put up 114 points. Jordan, I don't want to traumatize you by having you go back to this experience, but after that .1 debacle, you have this, and I'm just going to give you the floor.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this week was tough. It's another one of those weeks where the projections were really looking my way. And then, like so many other times this season, they just kind of turned on their head. But I would, my team kind of underperformed this week. Born to Run blew up. What happened that week didn't really hurt me as much, but it did bring me back to the week before where a Bo Nix kneeled down at the end of the game, lost it by .1, and just brought that anger back up to the surface. Right. Because I thought
after that game, I had gotten away with it. I still have another week to get a win. It just hurts. Just hurts. And Willie Levi's, I don't know. He should stop playing football because
that was not good. I was watching.
Not good.
Good biceps on a quarterback. Decision making and throwing, not so great.
Yeah, he looks good in shorts in the summer and a t-shirt, but not with pads on. He is not good.
So Walt, Zach Charbonnet, 40.3 points. Is this the curse of the golden toilet seat?
Yeah, it might be, because I must say, this was such a gift. I was really worried Walker was going to try playing, and I was going to be on the fence.
Yep.
And when I saw Walker was ruled out on Friday or Saturday, I'm like, this is beautiful. Because there was no one else that was going to take carries away from Charbonnet, really,
no way.
at that point. So it was the easiest. It's really, honestly, one of the first times in a year where I didn't have to juggle a lineup. All my guys were healthy and in play. And, and I will say for me, if any of those bastards, Hubbard or CD, would have showed up the week before, I'd be celebrating right now that I was in the playoffs. But whatever, you got to just kind of get over it.
You do. I mean, I've got Charbonnet's year stats every game up on the screen right now. And if you take week 3 versus Miami, where it went over 25, you could add up the majority of these weeks and not get to 40.3 points. That's impressive, but that's how you want to go out. If you're going to go out, you go out swinging. And yeah, there was some hard luck that didn't get you in that 7 win group, but this is, again, I've been there.
How it works.
And then,
right.
Yeah, you want to go down fighting, and 150 plus points is how you want to go out.
Yeah, and it's nice to knock a team out that might be going, but Jordan, sorry, but it's even nicer when you knock off the champ. So
Yes.
There's no back-to-back.
Yep.
That feels good.
Not only the defending champ, but this team, because of points for, because of a good year of scoring points, was going to be in with a win.
Oh,
no doubt.
And I think that's why he's saying, last week really hurt, because wins last week, even if he loses this week, because of that point total, he would have been in.
Ant, do you feel any responsibility for the trauma that Soarin Eagles is suffering this week?
No, that's all on him. The toilet seat is gone.
I knew it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know that we have to go any further into delving into this one.
I mean, the next 5 years are going to tell us a lot on whether.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Well, man.
Yes.
You could say Charbonnet was born to run, huh?
Oh no. Oh, this is happening.
This guy's awesome.
I might have to change my logo now,
We have
Tony.
fun.
We have fun on this pod, huh?
So in a week of huge points scored, 152 goes to Born to Run, 158, no lineup needed, 187 the Springfield Rifle. Boston Beans blow up just shy of 150. And the other team that went over 130, Whopper Moppers.
Yeah, so let's go there and talk about somehow you still got in. Maybe less than what you wanted for a showing, but just enough.
It was just enough. So let's give the Whopper Moppers their due. They scored 132 points. I believe over the last, I don't want to call it up on the screen, in the last 5 weeks, I believe that Whopper Moppers has gone over 130 points like 3 or 4 times. Like they're coming in where they want to be, and this is a good performance top to bottom. They stuck Baker Mayfield in like we had talked about in the pod, and it could have cost them because he somehow scored less than Brock Purdy. But Walt, what was the key to victory for Whopper Moppers this week?
I mean, you just had the two guys, Justin Jefferson, huge day. Minnesota Vikings receivers, when Sam Darnold throws 5 touchdowns, that's always going to be a good sign for you.
That's great.
And then, of course, my Dallas Cowboys helped ruin another team by allowing Chase Brown to get 24 points. Yeah. So, yeah, 2 big performances. It negated Bucky Irvin went out early, and when he got hurt, but just a solid Gibbs at 19. It's one of those weeks where just a solid, from the top part of the lineup.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Christian, when you look at this game with the knuckleheads coming in with Mixon and Cortland Sutton on the bye, and then Pickens goes out early. Did the Knuckleheads have a chance in your mind, or was this a done deal before it started?
No, I think you have a chance. Like, I don't know. Like, BARFF has a lot of parity this year. I think a lot of people getting wins on buys. So I think you had I think you had a chance. But I mean, Tom's team is real good, and he had, he got 130 points when Bucky Irving played like 3 snaps.
Right.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
He got a 2.8 from Bucky Irvin and a negative point total from his defense.
Yeah.
Still goes 132. Yep.
Yeah, he's consistent. The Moppers are going to be tough. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So we'll end the week 14, last week of the regular season, which also sad. Regular season has now come to a close.
Can you believe it's over already?
It's the blink of an eye.
It is.
So I will put it to people. I feel like 2 teams that are coming into this postseason with momentum: Whopper Moppers and the Springfield Rifle.
Yep. 100%.
Jordan, if you were in the pool, who would you fear the most of those 2 teams, Springfield Rifle or Whopper Moppers?
I am, as I've said throughout the year, Rifle always turns into the scary team near the end of the season. Like his players just start picking it up. But I will say, the Moppers, they cut Madison half season, and I think that was the catalyst. I mean, that team looks. I think Chase Brown really coming into his own is scary.
Yeah.
Gibbs has been good all year, but he's gotten a lot more consistent, I think, near the end of the year, and his ability to pop off for big games has shown up. And that team's just solid up now. Lad McConkey been blowing it up.
Yeah.
Tom's got a lot, and he's got Flowers on the bench. He's got a lot of guys that are scary and a really deep bench. And I would be more afraid of Whopper Moppers right now.
All right. Kyle, I'm going to give you the same question from the outside looking in. You're looking at these 2 teams that made it in. Which ones would scare you the most?
Yeah, I'm going to go Whopper too. I mean, it's funny we're saying this about Rifle after he's 180 something, but with Whoppers, I really do. Lad McConkey, like Gort was just saying, he's kind of the guy for the Chargers.
Yep.
And then DJ Moore, that offense is looking like, well, not this past weekend, but they eventually picked it up. But like, it looks better under their new coach. So DJ Moore's doing a little bit better. So I think the Moppers, like we were saying, he put up like 130 something or whatever with a negative and a 2 from Bucky Irving. So I agree with Gort.
Yeah, I don't. But what do you think?
I'm in the same boat. I think just the consistency's been there. So if you play the Moppers, you got to count on saying I got to score north of 130 probably to have a chance.
Yep.
And so the consistency's there. He's got, Gibbs, like Jordan was saying, is really, I think he's getting a lot more looks too later in the season. Chase Brown's been a stud. You got Jefferson. So there's McConkey. You got people capable of really putting up some high scores there. So, yeah I like the Moppers.
Scary teams heading into the playoffs. And it's going to be a playoff full of reruns, and we're going to get to that in 1 second. What I will want to emphasize, what I put out in the chat, if you look back in BARFF history, it seems like the Knuckleheads finished last a lot. And I'm not going to say that we haven't had some tough seasons, but I'll bring up last year. I put it out to all the big brains. Someone explain to me how I get 6 wins and a win in the postseason and get told that I'm last. And I believe it was Sotie Pantloads that explained to me that the consolation ladder is, in fact, a ladder.
Yeah, it's true.
And you must, as it shows on the screen, you must not be the team at the bottom of the ladder. And so we're going to get that up on the screen right now just to explain to people what we're talking about here. And so let me try to zap that on over.
Can I pitch a league vote? We just name worst team ever as the worst team and just call it a day.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
attitude.
Attitude, right. I mean,
so I'm up on the screen
ruining
right
Christian
now.
McCaffrey's career.
He'll never draft Christian McCaffrey again in any round. So Born to Run and Sotie Pantloads right now are at the top of the ladder at 7 and 8, and worst team ever and Soarin Eagles are playing at the bottom of the ladder. And so right now it's showing Soarin Eagles as the 9 at the bottom of the ladder. And if they lose next week, for example, then as you move on to the next week, even with 4 teams left, they'll still be like, you have to win to get above. You want to stay above those rungs. And it's harder for the playoff teams coming down to get anywhere close to you. Like, it's actually mathematically impossible over those weeks for one of the playoff teams to really fall that far.
Right. The worst you can do is 6th place, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you want to definitely, of the bottom 4 teams, if you don't want to look and see that roll of toilet paper next to your team's name in the ESPN history, you want to make sure that you're winning these games, and especially that last game. If you're one of the last 2 teams, whether you're ranked number 7, number 8, doesn't matter. Whether you've had a victory earlier doesn't matter. You must win that last game to avoid being the team at the bottom of this graphic ladder. And so that's my spiel on the consolation ladder, because it's painful to look back and see constant 10th place, 10th place, 10th place. It's not good for your mental health.
No.
Don't let that happen to you. And so up on the screen right now, we're going to talk about what is left in the season, and it is playoff time. There are 4 teams that are out. There are 2 teams on a bye. There are 4 teams that are playing this week, and those are the 4 teams that we're going to talk about right now. And we've got the Springfield Rifle taking on No Lineup Needed in a rematch of Week 14. And in the other rematch of Week 14, we've got the Knuckleheads taking on the Whopper Moppers. This is 4 versus 5 and 3 versus 6. And that is all that we have in round 1. And these teams will move on. The winners will face number 1, Huey Lewis and the News, and number 2, Boston Beans. And with that, I am going to take the show and I am going to get into the next segment, which is directly related to the playoffs and the playoff bracket. And it is a segment that we are going to call the Gortsbook, because it would be illegal for us to start a sports book. And so with that said, Jordan, take it away on what the odds are for these teams, and we got some parlays to talk about also.
Ding, 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 ding. If this was a live graphic, it'd be like the slot machine noises in the background. Welcome everyone to the Gortsbook. You know, I thought either I would go no contact.
Thanks for having us.
Until you're welcome. I would either go no contact with everyone until August 2025, and just kind of wallow in it. But instead, I decided I wanted to make something. So I went through and used my opinions and my opinions only to craft some odds for these games, including some championship odds, which I'm sure you got up on the screen right now.
Yep.
And I'm just going to walk you through, and we'll go through the odds, and we'll talk about some featured parlays that some of our eliminated teams have put together.
So Jordan, I'm gonna make the graphics that you're talking about bigger so people can see them easier. So you're gonna start with 2024 championship odds.
Yeah, let's start there.
All right.
So we're looking at the championship odds. So these are the odds for the team to win it all.
Yep.
And I think what you'll see reflected in these odds is, it's fantasy. It's a crapshoot. There's not a huge gap between number 1 and number 6 here. Anything can happen. These games are tight. These teams are good. Coming in at number 1, I think Huey Lewis in the News coming in at plus 250 to win the championship. You can't disrespect number 1. Huey Lewis, as always, making funny lineup decisions, funny draft decisions, and just doing well with it. He's got Barkley going off, Kamara going off, picks we made fun of that are really carrying them. So not going to disrespect number 1, and they're number 1 there. Coming in at number 2, got no lineup needed. I just think, some former Eagles on that team. I think no lineup is really strong. Bijan is coming into his own. And some other guys on that team that is just another one of those that's solid, through to the bench, through to depth, got handcuffs for some of his more important positions. And I think no lineup is the second strongest team, even though he has to get through the Rifle first round. It doesn't have that bye luxury. Boston Beans coming in next, sort of tier number 2 of the teams. Actually, Boston Beans and Whopper Moppers, I have equal odds at plus 285 to win it all. Beans can't disrespect number 2. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown stack is going to start going off now that A.J. Brown complained enough and was big enough of a diva. And then Whopper Moppers, just like we talked about, depth throughout, really strong team, momentum coming in. And even though he's got to play a game this week, I still think he has similar odds to the Beans to win it all. Coming in sort of the third tier, but sort of a tier of their own is Springfield Rifle. I think there is a tough spot in the Rifles lineup that I can't really poke at any of the teams above them, and that's sort of that RB2 spot.
Yeah.
It's Jonathan Taylor or is it James Cook? And both those guys sort of have whatever the opposite of momentum is going into this part of the season. But other than that, I mean, the team's super solid. Puka has been going crazy. So I'm high in Rifle. Josh Allen, being Josh Allen is going to be tough to beat, and that's a wild card in the playoffs. So Springfield Rifle I have just behind the Beans and the Moppers. Don't worry, I'll give you some love later. But Knuckleheads, I have
What is this laughter?
I don't know.
It's +3.
That's insulting.
I got to agree.
I think there's just too many Giants in that lineup.
Hey,
What's wrong with the G-Man?
hey, we got some of those out of there, kid.
When we get back to the featured parlays, though, I'll give Knuckle my love. But those are the championship odds.
And what do you think? You are currently sitting in Byland, and he has you equal Chucktown draw at +285. Do you believe that those odds are accurate?
Yeah, I said yesterday, I think I texted him, and I said, I think Tom's going to win it all. So I like Whopper Moppers. I would put his odds a little higher, or a little better,
God. So, Tony is a successful tie, basically.
What is he?
Taking his own team.
The awesomest worst teams ever.
If you look at my lineup, though, for this week, I am resting all my starters and giving some other guys to get a chance.
I got to factor that into the odds.
I'm serious. Check it out.
Christian, when you look at Huey Lewis in the News getting the best odds of this group, and you are always a humble owner, but if I were to break down these teams in terms of points for, etc., I believe that no lineup comes a little bit ahead in that. Am I accurate? Does anyone know that off the top of their head? Christian, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I feel like 100 more points than Huey up.
Yeah, I think so too. And so what do you think about this Huey being favored in the Gortsbook odds?
So I think he needs to be because of the bye, but I might be thinking myself this week, but if I think I get through, I think I take his team to the cleaners. I'm 100, so I think he deserves it with the bye, but I think my team would rinse his team head to head next week.
Nice. Yep.
Oh, now we're talking.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. It's
there.
playoff time. It is playoff
And that's
time.
big time factored into the odds. I also think that in a head-to-head matchup, no lineup has Huey, but it's fantasy football.
That's
and
right.
You want to be playing less matchups because anything can happen.
100%.
Yep.
Well, 180 plus points. Springfield Rifle undervalued with these odds, or is this about right?
No, I think I like it because, the Rifles got to win 3 games. So to me, that's always
hard.
That's harder.
Yep.
To get 3 games in a row, to roll your way, I think that's tricky. So I don't have a problem with the Rifle at the +290. In fact, I could say maybe even a little higher because, like Jordan said, I think that RB2, but, I think it's right there. It's as far as the ranking of the odds. I like it.
I will say if the Springfield Rifle can beat no lineup 2 weeks in a row,
Right.
that's the scariest team
Yeah.
in BARFF,
Yep.
for sure. For sure.
Now, I would have liked to see the Knuckleheads to be maybe at +500 or so.
Yeah.
Because we're overcoming a lot, right?
We're overcoming
a lot of history,
There is a lot of history.
a lot of Giants
This
players
is
in one lineup.
2 times champion. I just want to say 2 times champion Knuckleheads are encountering adversity over the last 10 years or so.
I think so. So I think, you got to entice the bettors and maybe make them +500 to draw a little action in on the Knuckleheads.
I will say Whopper Moppers beat me twice. So beating a team 3 times is hard unless that team is the Knuckleheads. So, I can't argue with these. I was pretty happy it wasn't like +600. So.
Yeah, no, but, Jordan, I'm telling you, I see a future of a bookie on the side for you. I like this.
Well, let's keep going.
I just need to recruit Beans for the muscle.
Beans has a mean choke. We've talked about that very expertly applied choke. So you want that with your muscle. Unassuming also can slide in there and apply that. So Jordan, where do you want to go now? You want to talk about the next week's games directly, or do you want to go to parlays?
Yeah, let's move over to the game lines. Let's save the parlays for after people get a look at those.
All right, let's go. Let's start with no lineup needed in the Springfield Rifle.
So for this game, no lineup versus Springfield Rifle. So I went through, what you don't see behind the scenes here is I went through, looked at the projections for all the starters, put in my own over-under for their fantasy points, which we'll talk about when we get to the parlays. And then that's where the spread, the over-under comes from for these games. And when I did it for no lineup and Rifle this week, there's only 4 points separating these two teams. And when you think about, a football game, maybe 40 points are scored, the winning team wins by 14. That's like almost half the points. When you're looking at fantasy football, we're looking at 280 points being scored in this game, and the difference between these two teams is looking like about 4 points. So, this is as close to a pick-em as you can get. I have no lineup favored by just a hair because they do come out on top by 4 points. This is going to be a close one. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, Walt, what do you think?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think you're right on the money on this. I think those odds reflect how tight the game's going to be and how high scoring it'll be. So, yeah. I looked at that and said, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Knucklehead's taking the over on this one, 100%. Well, I'm taking the over for these two teams going 280.
I would take the over as well on that.
Yep, this is a 300-point game for sure.
And I think the no lineup's going to cover. They give them 4 too on top of it.
Kyle, what do you think? You over under 280?
I was gonna pick Christian spread actually because I think Rifle has a chance at a dud this week. He's got some guys that are kind of scary, like Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor. That's like a little they could get single digits. Juwan Jennings, who knows?
Allen against Detroit too, not a great match.
Yeah, exactly. So. I think I like Christian spread. Also with Rifle, one of my friends one time once told me when the Penguins were playing, he's like, can't use all your goals in one game. And then the Penguins scored like one the next game. That's how I feel with the Rifle. He scored 189. I think this week he's got like a 110 in him. So I think there's going to be a big drop off there. So I got Christ spread.
All right. Ant, where are you going? What do you bet in this game? The over under the spread? What do you got?
I'm going to go with Rifle money line. I think Lamar is not going to have as many as you think. I think it's going to be a Derrick Henry game, and they're going to run up the score, and I think they're just going to start taking guys out.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, if you're playing the Giants, you're going to run the ball.
Yeah.
Because they can't stop. You put up a yield sign, you'd be better off in that run defense, and so that could be pretty
I can see that as well.
Spot on. Pretty spot on. All right, Christian, you're betting your own game. We might have to ban you if you actually do this, but what do you got?
I got to take myself money line. If I'm not taking myself this week, I might as well drop my entire team to the free agent, the waiver wire, and the league. So I love my team this week. Outside the fact I might have to not start David Njoku, rest in peace, his hamstring, right as the times get good. But I love my team. I love my lineup. I think, and I agree with Bones here that I think there's some over projection on the Rifle side with some of the matchups he has, but.
Sorry, it's just Jordan joining us back. Go ahead, Christian.
Money line myself.
Money line on the lineup. Yeah, that's pretty smart.
He's no worst team ever. He's got to pick himself, so I love it. That's 100%.
Yeah, Pete Rose situation here, though.
Could be.
As long as he's not betting against himself, I don't care.
I'm just incentivizing my players to do better.
Exactly right. I will never understand why anyone ever has a problem with a player, manager, coach, owner betting on themselves. Like, that's what you want in sports. I don't understand why it's a problem, but
100%.
that's just me.
They should have to bet on themselves.
I agree, right? Right?
Yeah.
If you bet
The
against
Beans could be the
yourself,
lesson in that one.
Yeah, like WT would probably put some money
He
against
did.
himself.
He won a survivor
He
pool
did.
that
That's
way.
true. That's true. He bet himself.
Yeah,
bet
he
himself,
is. He is Pete Rose.
Yeah. Boy, let's just move on from that. All right, Jordan. The next line of the next lines that we have in the next game: Whopper Moppers and Knuckleheads. Take it away.
Yeah. So you're going to look at this game and you're going to say 22-point spread. How are we looking at minus 162 versus plus 136?
I am saying
But again,
that.
we're looking at total points versus the spread. It's still a tight game, and it's fantasy football. 22 points in a 266-point game doesn't end up being a huge percentage of the pie. You have everyone in your lineup do 2 points less. Boom, there's your 22 points. Ish. Maybe 20 points. 10 people in the lineup?
10 people.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I had Knuckle clocked in at about 122 and a half for their personal over-under, and I had Whopper Moppers around 144 and a half. I think it's Whopper Moppers' game to lose, but it's fantasy football, and it's playoffs.
Well, you wound me, sir. I'm putting in the chat right now. Knuckleheads, 200 points this week. Christian, I'll start with you. Betting this game, the spread, the over-under, or the money line. What do you got?
I think Knuckleheads covering the spread. I mean, Brees is a maybe. You got your boys back. You got Joe Mixon. You got Cortland Sutton, who's like low-key a top 10 wide receiver for most of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some tough matchups on Whopper's side. As much as I think he might better you in this game, I think it might be tight. I mean, Brock Purdy, if he keeps him in, it might rain, and Brock Purdy and the rain have never mixed. He looks horrible whenever there's any precipitation. Go back to the Buffalo game. So I think you might have some upset potential, but I think he'll cover the spread at least.
All right, Kyle, what do you think? What are you betting?
This is going against completely what I said like 20 minutes ago about Tom being the one to beat. I'm taking Knuckleheads adjusted line minus 6.5.
Yes.
I think Tom last week, we're doing the thing that we did at Port Gore every week. We're gassing up the Whopper Moppers. We're acting like he's, some godsend. But I think with all that hype, he'll throw up the dud. The old dog's going to learn some new tricks, and he's going to move on in playoffs.
That's true. There is kind of a podcast curse on players and
We
situations.
have done that to people.
And so before I go on to you, Walt, I just want to
Yeah,
say...
you guys have done that to people.
Yes.
I got a survivor pool based on that.
Yeah,
So,
Soarin, we have wounded you, and we understand that. So before I move on to Walt and what Walt's been this week, I'm just going to say there's really no doubt in my mind that Whopper Moppers dominates this week and wins handily, and there's no doubt that Whopper Moppers will win and the Knuckleheads will lose. You heard it here on the pod. Whopper Moppers will win and the Knuckleheads will lose. And so I'm glad I got
Where's the
that.
tie join?
Love it.
Well, what do you got? What are you betting this week?
So I'd like to see Jordan make the money line on you a little higher, so it attracts me to make that bet. Again, 136, that action, I don't know if that's enticing to me enough. But I do think, oh boy, this is a tough one. 22 points is a big spread. So I'm taking the Knuckleheads plus 22. I think Tom's going to win, but I think it's going to be tighter than last week. I just have that feeling for whatever reason. Tom's out tonight pursuing love. He's not keeping an eye on Brock Purdy and the weather conditions.
Freaking chasing tail.
That's it, yeah. So that'll get, Rocky Balboa will tell you from the first Rocky.
Women weak in legs,
That's
man.
right.
That's
So
right. This is playoff time.
And that's why I'm
Focus.
taking the 22. He should be focused.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm going the 22 with the Knuckleheads, although I do feel if we're going money line, the Whoppers, I think they're going to eke it out, but it's going to be close.
Jordan, I've been staying away from you a little bit with these. Do you have a bet that you want to make on this game?
I would take. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be counterintuitive to what everyone else is saying. I think I take Mopper's spread. When I was thinking about it, I'm trying to get people's minds to wrap up around this. 22 looks huge. But in fantasy football, it's not the craziest spread in the world.
It's
Like,
not.
we've had games that are 80 to 150 this year,
Uh-huh.
like a 70-point spread.
Yeah, this ain't real
So,
football. Absolutely, you're right.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big of a spread. I think Moppers has a really strong team, and I think he has good matchups this week. And I think he could put up a big score.
All right.
I
And
feel like conversion is probably like a touchdown in fantasy football. Like,
Yeah.
right.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep.
Yep.
And did I go to you for this game with a bet? I'm losing track. I'm doing some stuff on the other screen.
No, but that's okay. If I were to bet, I'd probably stay away from this one. But I would go with Tom Moneyline because I said it, I think he's going to win it all.
Tom's going to win it all. All right. That's the prediction from Ant. I agree. I think Tom's going to win it all. I think he's going to win. He's going to beat the hell out of the Knuckleheads this week.
Hey, he
You
gets
heard it
by.
here on the pod.
The first round is always the toughest to get through. When you do that, I think you get momentum. Hey, Tony, do you have any non-compete clause with DraftKings so you're not allowed to weigh in on any of these?
I think I need to emphasize.
Oh, I can ball out.
There you go.
All right.
I need to emphasize this is the Gortsbook because we can't run a sports book. In case anyone federally affiliated is watching, we are talking point spreads, etc. There is money that changes hands in this league. However, this is simply the Gortsbook. Gort, I'm going to now go into the parlays and take it away.
Great. This is my favorite piece of the Gortsbook right here. And I'm going to read these off backwards. I'm going to start with my favorite. So, again, I asked some of the eliminated teams if they could cook up a hot parlay that they'd put together as some featured parlays for the week. So I'm going to start with the Hangin' Dong parlay, coming from yours truly, Born to Run.
Hold on. I need to make that bigger on the screen. Keep going.
Oh, it's bold.
The Hangin' Dong parlay is, an ode to Whopper Moppers, who used to have a different name in this league. And he's taken Moppers money line, Jefferson over 17.5 points, Brandon Aubrey over 9.5 points, and DJ Moore under 17.5 points for a total payout of plus 1,090.
That is impressive. Who takes that parlay? Christian, I'll start with you.
Well, let me check who the Cowboys are playing this week.
Carolina.
Carolina.
Yep. Aubrey's
Okay.
easy money over that 9.5, guaranteed.
I think I would not take this parlay. I actually think that Justin Jefferson over is a trap against Chicago.
All right, Kyle, what do you think? Hanging Dong?
I'm hanging dong with Tom.
Sorry, Christian, I cut you off. What else do you got on that?
No, you're good. You're good. I think
Okay.
Justin Jefferson's
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he went huge last week, so can he continue? Especially with this.
Honestly, just to critique my own, the one that scares me is the DJ Moore. I went with the under. I could see that backfiring potentially. But
Yep. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I don't know.
For some background, I saw what everyone else is seeing. I set that Jefferson line lower than his ESPN projected,
Yes,
and I
you
set
did.
that DJ Moore line above what his ESPN is projected because those matchups, tough for Jefferson,
Yep.
pretty good for DJ.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. Ant, you taking Hanging Dong?
No, I'm riding with Christian on the Jefferson thing.
Yeah.
I'm with him there.
Yeah, I think that's wise. I don't know that. Like Sam Darnold threw for 5 touchdowns last week, and that's terrific. Sam Darnold, asking him to have another great performance.
Yeah.
Remember, it's Sam Darnold. So who knows? Who
But
knows?
it is inside though, and that's what made me
true,
go
too.
that.
Yeah, that's true
If it
too.
was outside
Yep.
Chicago, that would have been a different story.
That's a great point. All right, so that was Hanging Dong. Well to go, Born to Run.
Thank you.
Jordan, where do you want to go to the next parlay?
Next parlay, we'll go to our heartbroken owner, Sotie Pantloads, who has been riffing off this week that he really wants to see a first-time champ this year. I think he's a little insecure about anybody encroaching or pulling away on those championship record numbers. So the first-time champs...
Not anymore. They can't touch the toilet seat, pal.
Oh boy. All right, keep going,
The
Jordan.
first-time champs parlay clocking it at plus 1050. We
What a
got
hoot.
lineup money line, with Lamar Jackson over 26.5 points. And also the Whopper Moppers money line, again, clocking in with Brandon Aubrey at over 9.5 points.
Wow. Ant, I'm going to start with you this time. You taking first-time champs?
I'm going. No, I don't like that Brandon Aubrey one.
Yeah. So, Walt, you disagree with that based on what you said. So are you taking first-time champs parlay?
Well, the one that bothers me is the guy you never can trust is Lamar Jackson.
Does Lamar Jackson need to score 27 points this week for Baltimore to win?
See, there's what we talked about earlier. So, I you know what, though? I'd probably bet it, though, because that's the only one that bothers me out of all of it. So, I'm laying some money down on it.
All right, Christian, first-time champs, yes or no for a parlay?
If I'm betting myself, if I see myself money line in that,
Yep.
I'm going for it.
Yes.
I like it.
I like that also. Kyle, what do you think, first-time champs?
Yeah, I mean, just, again, for the third time this pod, I've gone against something I said 5 minutes ago where I just picked knuckleheads. But I like the first time champs this year. I think we're due. So yeah, I'm riding my parlay.
Nice. I like it. I like it. All right. So Jordan, that leaves us with which parlay?
The last one is one cooked up by yours truly, Soarin Eagles. This is another plus 1090 odds. And Knuckleheads, I told you, Commish, I'd throw you some love back. And I would take this. We got Knuckleheads money line. We got Knuckleheads versus Whopper Moppers over 266.5 points. We got Mike Evans over 12.5 points and Breece Hall over 13.5 points. And keep in mind, those Mike Evans and Breece Hall lines were set below their ESPN projection because they both, Mike Evans has a tougher matchup, but Breece Hall's just simply been underperforming a little bit. But he has a juicy matchup, which is why I took the over on him.
Kyle, what do you think, Knuckle Sandwich?
I just bet against you again, so I'll stick with my knucklehead minus 6.5 for a little tasty dog. I'm staying away from the knuckle sandwich.
Christian, Knuckle Sandwich.
No, I love this. I'll take it. I'll bet knuckle sandwich, but I have a question for the odds maker. What if Breece Hall doesn't play? Is there a replacement in this parlay?
Just get your money back.
No, I didn't get that far.
I'll do it.
Ant, Knuckle Sandwich.
I'm starving, so I'll dive into that knucklehead sandwich. Even though I did pull a Sotie Pantloads and just say Tom was going to win it all.
We just love action. We just love putting the bets up.
Yeah, this isn't very unrealistic.
This one moves the needle.
Anyway.
Yeah, this is how every weekend goes for us. So.
All right, Walt, you taking this parlay Knuckle Sandwich?
I think I'll take a ham and cheese, not a knuckle sandwich, because I look at it as like a Matthew Berry money line that comes up that you're like, oh yeah, and if you try betting it, you lose every time. So I got to say, the odds aren't there for me. 1090? Come on. You got to suck me in by plus 2,000 on this one. So, yeah, I don't like a lot of it, actually, except for Mike Evans over 12.5, honestly.
I've been staying away from action, but I'll weigh in on this one. There's no way that Knuckleheads hits this, and so clearly Whopper Moppers, you hear it right here on the pod, they're going to destroy this parlay, and they are certainly 100% absolutely going to win this week. As we say on the pod. And so that's all I can do. I've done the best that I can to curse the Whopper Moppers. And so that is the Gortsbook. Jordan, thank you so much for bringing up this
well done
new segment. That's awesome.
You're welcome. I think I'm locked into doing it again next week, so you'll see an updated version.
Yes. The Gortsbook should play out for the rest of the playoffs, and I should have been writing this down. I'll rewatch the episode, and we'll see how the bets played out next week. Because every week, we've got a little less to talk about. So we'll get the Gortz book and who's ahead. We'll see who comes out ahead in the Gortz book heading into the last episode. That'll be fun. And so that's really our review. Like we talked about 2 games that were consequential that happened, and now those same 2 games happen again. You've got no lineup needed taking on the Rifle, Whopper Moppers, and Knuckleheads. That is all the BARFF action this week. Walt, is this unprecedented? I don't know that we've seen 2 rematches in a round.
I don't think I've ever seen this in 40 years of fantasy football.
Yeah.
We had the last week of the season replicated in the playoffs.
It's crazy.
So it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty impressive. Christian, do you have any? So you had the Rifle last week. They blew up, and it was a loss for you, even though your team blew up as well. How do you feel about facing the same team in the playoffs round 1, coming off of playing them in week 14?
They can't do me dirty twice in a row, right? They can't do me like that.
I don't know. This is BARFF.
I had better matchups this week, and I think his matchups are substantially worse, with specifically Josh Allen against Detroit.
Right.
There's a high point total I've seen, or expected points, but I just think that, I don't know, I think his running backs are worse off. Kind of like my 3 players tonight versus his 3. D-Hop versus Cleveland, not great. I do hate that I might have to start Juwan Johnson. That's a horrible, horrible start. But, yeah, I like my team.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
That's
And
good.
Neighbors is not playing this week. I've made that decision.
Yeah.
Good decision.
You can't trust them. They're sticking DeVito back at quarterback.
Yep.
I don't even know what they're doing.
With Drew Lock, I probably would have started him because he could at least huck the ball to try to play this Ravens secondary, but DeVito's just going to have this little,
Dink and dunk.
like, yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
I think Tracy will do well this week because of that, but not Neighbors.
Yeah, they're going to stay away from throwing the ball this week. They have to. Against Baltimore, Tommy DeVito's not going to beat you with his arm, and so that's just problematic. But that's the story of the season for the Giants, so we'll hope for better things next year with a good high draft pick, probably the number 1 pick. So I will say, facing the Moppers, I would prefer to have not faced the Moppers again in round 1 of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But to be totally honest, it's tough to beat a team 3 times, and so I kind of can hang my hat on that, because when I look at the other teams in the playoffs, I can't say I really want to see them again. You know, I have a win over Huey, but I don't want to see Huey. Like, I'm basically going in on a wing and a prayer. I don't know how to have playoff swagger because it's been so long since I've been in the playoffs. So
It's chopping that tree down.
That's
little by little.
One game at a time.
That's it. One game at a time.
Yeah. All right. So I want to bring up one. You know, we don't want to keep bringing up the toilet seat. Jordan took a couple zaps tonight, but I have received, outside of Ty's Stanley Cup idea, I don't believe that we've received any other options for what we want to do with a new trophy. So I would renew that effort. Like, let's get some ideas in so that we can pick one and talk about it, you know, what it's going to be on the last episode. We've only got a couple episodes left.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So let's do that, people.
I have a suggestion.
Ready.
I think we do the double-sided toilet seat again, gold, but one side should be the past toilet seat, and then one side should be empty, and we start the new one now.
Oh,
okay.
I like
Did we already do that?
No, but that was on 2 sides.
No, I see what you're saying. We put the
Oh, you're
winners-
saying one toilet
Right,
seat?
Yeah.
right.
We-
Yeah.
we-
One toilet seat like it was in the past, but one side has all the previous toilet seat winners, the OGs, and now the new side is empty, and the new winner will go this year on that side.
Gotcha.
I like that idea. It'll get us to write smaller on the new side to match the back side.
It will.
Well, you guys didn't know how to write back then, so that's why it was so big.
Yeah. No, that's a really good idea, and I like that. So thank you for that. We'll
That's
put
a good
that.
idea.
Yeah, that's definitely good.
I was only half joking about a whole toilet. I would definitely take on a whole toilet.
I'll be kind of sick. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I don't.
I
We can hoist it.
You are on your throne if you do that, right?
True.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
And it's plenty of real estate to go on for years and years.
yeah.
So. All right, so that's 3 ideas. We've got the Stanley Cup idea, we've got the new double-sided toilet seat, and we've got the full toilet. We'll see. We'll see.
You can afford to play a little squatty potty.
A gold bidet.
Yeah, gold bidet. There we
Wow.
go.
I might actually use that if we make that a trophy.
I feel like the full toilet sounds terrific right up until the point when it's draft night and you have to take that home, and I'll be happy to give it to you. Not that I won't have it, but I probably won't have it. So yeah, then it's hi, look at this. Yeah.
Stuff to put on your mantle bones if you got the whole toilet.
Yes. Some of you guys got limited real estate in terms of square footage. A full toilet might eat up a lot of that. So.
And then there might be confusion after a night out. Who knows what?
Oh, there's no confusion. I'm using that thing.
Full toilet, and last place does the install.
That's pretty good. I love it. All right. Anything else, gentlemen, for the good of the order? Did we miss anything?
No. I picked Whoppers. That's where I'm going. Whoppers champ. There you go.
Yeah,
Oh.
I also picked Whoppers to win this
Why
week.
don't we do that? Yeah, finish that out. Who are we picking as the winner of the whole thing?
The winner of the whole thing. All right, I'll take Whopper Moppers.
All right.
Christian.
I got no lineup.
All right, one for no lineup, Christian.
Oh, it's me, obviously.
Yep. Perfect. Walt.
I'm gonna say, he's been the bridesmaid, but now he's gonna be the bride. No lineup.
No lineup. That's a good pick. Except that Whopper Moppers is definitely 100% going to win this week, as stated on the BARFF Fantasy Football podcast, because that's what I can do to curse them. So that's what I've done. All right, I've only said it about 15
Did
times.
Tony pick?
Tony, champ this year pick.
Even though I just took the knucklehead sandwich, I'm going to pull another Sotie, and I'm going to go with Thunder. Tom.
Yep.
All right.
Tom's bringing the Bifrost.
They're all over the place.
I love that
Bringing the
pick.
Bifrost.
I love that pick. And so, yes, there's a lot of love. I just want it to be noted that on tonight's podcast, there's a lot of love for Whopper Moppers. This is
We love
shameless.
Tom. That's something about us.
It's shameless. Of me.
And it would be tough to lose for Tom.
All right, I want to thank No Lineup, Sotie Pantloads, Boston Beans, and Soarin Eagles for calling in tonight. Walt, thanks for making
Yeah, it
the
was a lot of fun.
long trip down here from the Great White North. We have the first round of the playoffs to look forward to. It should be another exciting week of BARFF. And thanks to all, and good luck to all.
Good luck, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Good luck.
Good night.